Hello, everyone. Good evening, everybody in YouTube land. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's happy. I can only hope, right? All right. So, I'm just taking a walk, try to get some fresh air, collect my thoughts, and it's a little bit difficult because I'm not used to doing this sort of video. But we all got to start somewhere. And hang on, spider web. Okay. So, man, there's just a lot of good people out there, and it's just so hard to get stay in touch with them and whatnot. So, anyhow, this is just a little story, something I was pondering. So, okay. Yeah, it's pretty kind of peaceful out here. Real enjoyable. Go out here to collect my thoughts, just take a walk. All right. So, how do I put this? Where do I start? It's 2016. Um, I have to say that I'm very thankful and just happy to be able to speak because I had some extremely close brushes with death and almost died last year, along with some other very tragic events that happened in my life. Um, so this is going to be just a little story about myself here, I guess. Um, yeah, I do ask some questions and stuff, and it's just normal questions, I guess, out of curiosity. I guess a little background on myself would be I'm a gearhead. Um, see, I've been working on cars practically pretty much my entire life. Um, Probably from the 1930s up until modern day cars. This new 2017 models. So I've ran the gamut. There isn't pretty much anything that I can't fix, build, fabricate, weld, you name it. If it needs to work, I'll find a way to make it work. That's just one of my talents. Carpentry, not really my strong suit. But when it comes to metal and fabrication, turning wrenches, that's the sweet spot for me. However, uh, last year I had a very tragic event happen, and I'm very thankful that I'm still here to talk about it because uh, it was pretty life altering. So allow me to explain. Uh, Try to imagine you're working on your own vehicle at home in the driveway. Now, when I say driveway, what I mean by is is an incline, not a driveway like this, a driveway like this. Okay, all right. That being said, uh, I was working on let's say a '90s Chevy Blazer. I don't want to get too much more specific, but you get the idea. It needed a transmission, and what had happened is I set the emergency brake, and I did not chock the wheels. Now, when I went under the passenger side, I also need to mention that the front wheels were turned to the left as if you were making a left hand turn. So the front wheels were not pointing straight. So as I went under the passenger side to do my thing and disconnect the drive shaft, you gearheads will know what I'm talking about. But when you disconnect the drive shaft, it began to roll. And I had about a split second to make a quick roll over to my right to get out of the path of the truck and let it just roll into the road. Well, no, that didn't happen. Since, like I mentioned, the wheels were chalked, the truck actually followed me. It came right at me, and it caught me on my left thigh. And at that point, once it had me, the full weight of the truck, the engine, and it was the front tire that had me, it rolled slowly up my thigh, over my stomach, and sat on my chest. Uh, my girl who was nearby freaked out. Yeah, she was there kind of supervising, and she freaked out, which I don't blame her. Uh, she grabbed my arm, tried to pull me out from underneath. It was no use with a 2,700 pound truck on my chest. She actually tried to push the truck herself, which was kind of useless. She ran out in the road. Meanwhile, I'm losing consciousness with all the weight on me. She ran out in the road, stopped the first car. It was a mom and two kids. And, the four of them combined could not push the truck off me. So at that point, a couple neighbors were coming out with her screaming bloody murder. She ran to get another neighbor, big guy, and he was a friend of mine, came running over, and between him and her, and I'm not sure who else, because, again, I was under the front wheel of the truck, they pushed the truck off of me and correctly chalked the wheels and everything. And as the truck came off of me, I had just enough consciousness left and energy to make one little slight roll to the right. So in case it rolled back, I wouldn't get ran over a second time. Now, I couldn't move. I was face down in the dirt. All I could give was a thumbs up signal. I could barely breathe, and I just had to lay there. And thankfully, everybody knew not to touch me. The gentleman who came over insisted nobody touch him. Paramedics are on the way. Somebody did set up an umbrella over me because it was in the sun. But when the paramedics showed up, that was the true heroes, and they, had to do the tough task of slowly rolling me back over onto one of those hard boards and putting the neck brace on me and whatnot, and get me into the ambulance. Now, of course, they had to immediately put me on oxygen mask, and the guy gave me, I believe he was telling me, I'm giving you 100% oxygen, my friend, because I could barely take even the shallowest breath. Now, with that in mind, you're thinking pain. Well, yeah, God, yes. But they had the strongest pain relief they have in the ambulance, I'm allergic to. So they could give me nothing for the pain. They had to actually drive to an open area about 10 minutes away. Meanwhile, I'm fighting for my life. And call in the air support. And they also mentioned that the air support would have, pain relief medication that I could take on it. However, I had to wait there for 10 minutes in the ambulance, basically dying, until the helicopter got there. And that's when they loaded me onto the helicopter, and they gave me the whatever anesthetics for the relief of pain, but I could barely breathe, and I couldn't believe on the helicopter they made the comment that they didn't think I was going to make it. So they were frantically, constantly monitoring everything about me. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't hardly breathe. I mean, I thought it was my time. Okay, be quite honest with you. And we landed back at the hospital, and let's see. When I got in, they did a multitude of tests, horrifying tests, put you in machines and this and that. I was able, through short, raspy breaths like this, I was able to tell them what had happened. And excuse me. After all the tests and everything, and they got me comfortable as they could make me, I was informed that I had 7 broken ribs, and my chest bone was fractured right down the center from the weight of the truck sitting there for about 15 minutes waiting for the manpower to get it off of me, and that my left lung had collapsed 15%. Now, they said that the doctor said I couldn't speak, but she said that if it's 20% or more, they would put a chest tube in me, which is basically stabbing you in your chest, in your lung, to reinflate your lung. She said, if you can tonight, try to take some deep breaths. Well, you bet your sweet bottom that all night I could hear, but I couldn't speak. I did my best to take deep breaths. And the next morning, thankfully, she said, oh, your lungs looking so much better and whatnot. So I have to truly thank the first responders that were there that day and everybody that played a part in saving my life. If not for that, I certainly would have died. There is no doubt about it. I mean, that is how close I came to death. So picture that, going through that experience. And sorry, it's just a little chokes me up a little bit to talk about it. I've had a lot of difficulty getting back under the cars and under the hood since then, after working on cars my whole life. And so, I guess the people out here that are fear mongering and whatnot, talk about fear. I've been through some fear. I'm not comparing myself in any way to anybody else, saying my problems are any worse or better than what any combat vet or anything of that nature. Anybody that's got a high, type of accident. I'm just talking about my personal experience here. So, all that being said, um, that's just a little bit about myself. And I've worked, like I said, I've worked on cars my entire life. I can probably build any engine you wanted, rebuild transmissions if I had to. Not the best at it. Rear ends, fabrication, the whole nine. So, anyhow, just throwing that out there. And the other, like I said, the other tragedy that happened was my mother passed away last year. So, I don't take any day for granted. Every day that I'm breathing and I'm speaking, I'm thankful for. I truly am. So, I guess that's really all I wanted to put out there as far as that goes. I also just received a text from a number I've never heard telling me to go F myself. How random. Couldn't imagine who that would be from. And I don't really care. But, anyhow, I just thought I'd share that story. It's mentally, it's very difficult. And, I guess some people don't realize what other people have been through. It's all talk until, I don't know. I guess until it actually happens to you. So, along with the waking up process that we're all going through here, I guess you could call it, just kind of learning and, probing around, see what you can learn. Um, I'm just thankful to be able to do it. And I need to try to get over my shyness here and try to speak a little bit because I was almost silenced completely. So, forgive me if I don't talk a whole lot because it does still hurt. I spent a lot of time. I had to rehabilitate myself. Once I got out of the hospital, I had to learn how to breathe again, how to speak again. They said I wouldn't work on cars again, but I proved them wrong. I had an elderly lady that lived around the neighborhood that donated me her walker, and I used that walker inches at a time over a multitude of weeks and months to eventually get myself to where I could walk again. And I did it all on my own. I gave I with just sheer willpower and determination because they said I wouldn't work on cars again. Well, that was completely unacceptable to me. Unacceptable. So, I don't know really what else to say here at this particular time, but I would, just like to put that out there. Fear, yeah, I'm not really scared of much after this. After that happens, it really takes a lot, puts things into perspective. So, anyhow, I thought I'd share that story. Um, this is really difficult for me to do. I've not really told anybody about it, other than close family members that know about it. But anyhow, I just thought I'd share that. So I don't take anything at all for granted anymore. I appreciate everything, every kind word, everything. I take the good and the bad, and I don't think I've ever made a negative or mean comment towards anybody. So, um, peace and love to all you guys out there. You guys are awesome. Um, I thank all of you for all your wonderful comments, and I will definitely uh, show more pictures of the dogs. And as we go along, we'll see what else I can find to share. Okay, we're all in this together, so there's no, I don't know. Anyhow, I'll wrap it up. Y'all have a good one, everybody. Cheers.